For a moment, every eye sees a petal begin its journey from stem to ground, and in that thimbleful of time, all worry becomes extinct. All futurizing over what might be or what could happen ceases, and the world, in relaxation, unites in the joy of the now. Yes, imagine for a moment there is no worry. For a moment, every inhale welcomes wellness, and the world feels relief from the accompanying pains of disease. The air hums with the sighs of billions expressing their collective relief. Yes, imagine for a moment there is no pain. For a moment, everybody wins, and the victory circle is electric with the hugs, handshakes, and prayerful bows of authentic acknowledgement. It is the delicious moment when every mind with every heart conceives the truth that there is more than enough for all. Yes, imagine for a moment that everybody wins. For a moment, all are able to forgive everything and everyone from every page of the past, every thought of separation, every grievance and grudge. Brother understands brother, sister their sister, child understands parent, and parent their child, and the world is awash with liberation. Yes, imagine for a moment that all forgive. For a moment there is no hunger, and the bellies of all children and adults are filled with the precise nourishment their body is craving. Food is equally portioned and equally shared, and all races and religions discover that by sharing, one need never suffer from hunger again. Yes, imagine for a moment there is an end to hunger. For a moment, every person, everywhere, is active in their passion, doing what they love. Self-doubt has evaporated, and each heart beats with the rhythm of confidence. Creativity is a sacred act for the soul without concern for recompense or approval. Time and deadline is replaced with being lost in the joy of doing what one loves. Yes, imagine for a moment that everyone is living their passion. For a moment, every conscious thought tilts towards reverent action for the earth. The planet is nurtured and treated with sacred intention. Every ounce of air and water is pure. Pollution is a distant memory, and each inhabitant contributes to unprecedented ecological stability. Yes, imagine for a moment the earth is healed. For a moment, every heart has someone to love and someone who loves them back. For every soul there is a connection, and for every connection there is an appreciative soul. Loyalty, devotion, and respect are as natural and effortless to embody as breathing. Yes, imagine for a moment that true love exists for all. And with each imagined moment linked to the other, we stretch those moments to an occasion, those occasions to hours, those hours into days. And in those collection of days, where the imagination is free to think as big and as grand as it can, we begin to see and feel the shifts. Our planet, our hearts, our passions, our lives. Yes, imagine for a moment everything is expanding and guiding us into a new era of living.
As you can tell and you heard, our theme is for the month, freedom from discord. And we're wrapping it all up. This is the end of the month. The idea of freedom from discord comes from our organizational vision called the Global Vision that asks us to imagine what it would be like. What would it be like to live in a world that has been freed from discord? What would that mean to me? And what would be my part in it, bringing that forth? And the lyrics of the song that we just heard and the video that we just saw, it asks us a similar set of questions by asking us to imagine not being driven by tension. Whew. I may have nothing to reference that with, but I've got an imagination. I've got a great imagination. I can feel the relief of just thinking about it. Who would I be in this world if I wasn't chasing after anything? How would I be interacting if I wasn't all busy trying to change other people? Right? How do I behave when wherever I go, I treat that place respectfully as if it's my home? How does a person live who isn't afraid anymore? See, the beauty of a vision is that it asks us, it stretches our possibility thinking into a realm we may not ever have visited yet. That's the nature of a vision. It might not be immediately attainable. It may seem impossible. I might be thinking, I can't see myself I don't know how that comes to pass. But I don't let it stop me from using my beautiful imagination. In fact, I have to fall in love with the vision. I can't hold it off as something impossible. And when I fall in love with the vision and the possibility of it, that's when it can work in me. That's when it can prompt me to make the little changes, the new steps that take me in the direction of its fulfillment. See, for me, the global vision of a world that works for everyone, that is free from discord, it's been working in me, it's prompting me. In particular, it's prompting me to be as kind as I possibly can be. And I have to recommit to that over and over again. The global vision's not here yet, and I'm not there yet. But I'm stepping in the direction of it. And when it comes to kindness, I realize I've been stepping in that direction for a long time. I learned a lot about kindness from my mother. I was remembering in my childhood a scene where I was walking down the street with my cousin. We were very young. We were walking hand in hand with my mother on the streets of Johannesburg, and right in front of us there was a lady, and her shoes were in disrepair. Had holes in it, and one of the straps was flopping every time she walked. And as children would, we started pointing it out and poking fun at her and giggling. And my mother called us aside on the sidewalk, not in a mean way. She very gently reprimanded us. She said, we don't know what's going on with that lady. And that may be the only pair of shoes that she owns. It made such an impression on my young mind. It stayed with me forever. I've never forgotten that scene. And I think it made me sensitive to the fact that what people are dealing with may be invisible to me. I can't tell what courage and strength a person may be needing to work through to get through their life by assessing them on the outside, evaluating their worth by what I see. That creates discord and separation. It doesn't promote a world free of it. So I'm asking myself, to keep on moving toward a world free from discord, should I not then take every single opportunity I can to help others? By speaking more kindly about them, by thinking more kindly about them. And for me, the answer is yes, I should. And I want to. And I'm not there yet. So I get to start over every single day. Here's the thing, though. Every time I get it right, just a little bit right, the results are mind-blowing. Sometimes I think I have to be very skilled at being kind before I can do it properly. Not really, it's not the case. I was remembering when I was an intern, a brand new minister at a Center for Spiritual Living in Southern California, and one of my jobs was to welcome people in the social hall. I was in training, and one morning there was this lady standing at the bulletin board reading, and she was shoeless and obviously had her possessions in a bag on her shoulder. And the other guests were making a wide space around her. You know how it is, creating distance. And I thought to myself, I don't know what her story is. Thank you, Mom. And isn't she a guest in our house? Shouldn't I say something kindly? You know, and I felt the awkwardness because I wanted to make the same wide berth around her too. But I didn't. I walked up to her and I stood there in my awkwardness, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I said, "Hi, you have no shoes on." And she said something like, "You're observant." And I laughed with relief, and I said to her, "Yes, I'm a master at pointing out the obvious." And she laughed with relief too, and we started talking about the elements on the board there, the bulletin board. She asked me about some, but it turns out she was homeless, but that wasn't the reason why she had no shoes on. It turns out she preferred to walk without shoes, and I wouldn't have known that, because I was putting together a story about her. And you know, in the middle of the conversation, she paused and she said, "Thank you. I'm not used to people talking to me this way. Most people think I want something from them, and so when I meet them, they put up a wall instantly." And I thought about that. Whew. I do that. And then I thought, you know, although I wasn't very skilled in that interaction, I had reduced discord a little bit. Although I was clumsy, socially clumsy and awkward, still I had reduced some discord in the world. And it's reminded me it doesn't take a lot to be kind-hearted. It matters less that I'm skilled at it and more that I try. I was thinking about a visit I had, it must be 20 years ago now, with one of the senior members of our community, an elder. She was very advanced in age. She's passed on now, but I used to hang out with her, and she told me she knew Ernest Holmes, our founder, and she used to hang out with him. And she told me that one of the things he would say to people, because they were always asking him, "How do you handle this difficult situation? How do you resolve this problematic relationship? How do you handle that problem?" And he would give them, as a response, the simple instruction from Jesus of Nazareth, and would say to them, "Love your neighbor the way you love yourself." And apparently he would follow it up with this. It may sound simple to you, but try it. Now, I have no way of verifying those conversations, but it sounds like him. Kindness is a form of love. And in its simplest form, it's nothing more than common decency. Nothing more than dishing out to others what we want for ourselves. Love, acceptance, consideration, understanding, compassion, belonging, safety, a home, food. It's not really a new idea. Hillel the elder from Judaism, apparently when he was asked to summarize what Judaism was all about, said, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow." This is the whole Torah, and the rest is commentary. Apparently in Hinduism, the sage Vyasa said something similar. He described this idea as the sum of all true righteousness. Buddha apparently also said, "Hurt not others with that which hurts you." And Confucius, when a student asked him, "Is there one word that could serve as a rule of a practice for an entire life?" To which Confucius responded, "Is not the word reciprocity. What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others. Well, assuming, of course, that people want to be treated in the same way that you want to be treated, in the exact same way, that they have the same dreams and tastes and aspirations, but they don't. We're different. I have friends who prefer bluntness in communication. I do not. I do not wish them to treat me the way they wish to be treated. I have friends who their idea of intimacy and communication is to share everything about themselves immediately in intense detail. I do not. I don't like it. We're different. So we have to go even further with this. You have to go even deeper. We get to take other people's feelings and desires into consideration. We get to treat people in the way they want to be treated. And that's loving your neighbor. Yes, it is an act of loving kindness to first try to understand what other people need, and then to see from within my healthy boundaries, can I provide that? Can I deliver that? And whenever I talk about this, the question arises, but aren't there times when difficult conversations need to happen, when hard information has to be delivered? Yes, of course, absolutely. And I'm learning how to say these difficult things in the kindest way possible. That's my path. But I don't know about you, but have you noticed that there are plenty people who are ready and willing and able to use aggressive, mean language? I just don't have to be one of them. It's an option. Thank God it's a freedom that I have to choose from. I'm trying a different way. I want to learn how to say what I have to say, including the difficult stuff, in the cleanest, clearest, most kind way I possibly can. And do you know it's a minute-by-minute choice? One that I'm free to make. We're free. We're free to speak in any way we want to. Nobody is making us speak in the way we speak. And just because it is possible doesn't mean it is beneficial. That comes from the Bible. Just because it's possible to be a smart aleck, or to use foul language, or to gossip, or to point out people's inconsistencies, or to be mean-spirited, or to be sarcastic or rude. Just because it's possible it does not mean that it will help the world work better for anyone. It may be common, but will it take us toward a world that is free from discord? Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., the ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence, you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the lie, nor establish the truth. Through violence, you may murder the hater, but you do not murder hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that comes from, where do we go from here? Chaos or Community, 1967. And it reminds me, I have to be careful. I have to be careful of what I accept as normal for me. Do you know that cultural role models for common decency are very difficult to find on television? No, try this if you're a Facebook user. See if you can find just one entire day on your newsreel that is snark-free. Not possible. I've got to be careful about what I let condition me. It's tricky because I want to learn to be true to the global vision of a world that works for everyone, but I want to stay in the world. I don't want to withdraw from it. I don't think the global vision asks us to isolate and withdraw and step out of the world. I think it is leading us to a better way to be in it together. And for that to happen, each of us has to check in with ourselves. Am I happy with the way I have chosen to be in this world? Does it grow me spiritually to speak the way I speak? Because that's one of the ways we take our steps towards the vision's fulfillment. My friend, the elder who used to hang out with Ernest Holmes, she reported to me that he would say this: why would we expect our prayers to bring forth joy unless we entered into prayer with joy? Why would we expect our prayers to bring forth harmony, peace, and power unless we entered into prayer with harmony, peace, and power? Now, I have no way of verifying if he actually said that, but I wrote it down. But it's good. Right? And I can apply that to the global vision. Why would I expect my world to bring forth joy if I will not enter into it with joy? Why would I expect my world to bring forth peace if I engage it with hostility? There's the questions again I get to ask myself. How do I engage in this world? What's my theme? Am I joyful? You know, when I'm dealing with the difficult stuff, what's my theme? Is it collaboration, cooperation? You know, when I look back in time at how I behaved, will I be able to say, you know, that global vision was strong in me? I want to. You know, this global vision, it's like St. Francis of Assisi's prayer for peace. Impossible. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's darkness, light. Really? All the time? Every time? Like the global vision. It's very demanding. A world that works for everyone? All the time? Really? I can feel my voices. I'll never be that kind of saint. But you know, I've learned to make friends with it. It's not a checklist, and it's not a commandment. It's more like a hand pointing to the promised land, saying, walk this way and you may stumble. Walk this way. And as impossible as it may seem to be, do you know that every time that I'm just a little bit decent, just a little bit kind, the results blow my mind. I get much more return on my investment than I could ever imagine. The outcome is beyond my capacity to hold. I believe it even goes beyond what I see. I haven't even been to that land where my decency and kindness is producing fruit. In the final pages of our recommended book for the month, the author writes, she tells a story, a traditional Tibetan story called The Frog in the Well. One day, a frog who had lived his whole life in a well received a visit from a frog who lived by the ocean. When the frog in the well asked, "How big is the ocean?" the visitor said, "It's gigantic." "Oh, you mean about 1/4 the size of my well?" the well frog said. "Much bigger," was the answer. "Oh, you mean it's as big as my well?" asked the frog incredulously. far bigger. There's no comparison, said the frog from the sea. That's impossible, I don't believe you, said the whale frog. So they set off together to sea. And when the whale frog saw the vastness of the ocean, it was such a shock that his mind couldn't comprehend it, and he died on the spot. Do you feel inspired to stretch? The spiritual journey won't be the cause of your death, but it will almost certainly leave you speechless. It can't adequately be put into words, my words or anyone else's words. You simply have to experience it personally. You have to make this journey for yourself. In their prophecy of 2000, the Hopi elders said that in order not to be torn apart by these turbulent times, we have to let go of the shore and stay in the middle of the river, in the unceasing flow of life. But they didn't say we have to do this alone. See who is there with you and celebrate, they said. The time of the lone wolf is over. Through the years, I've come to understand that even if I wanted to be a lone wolf, I couldn't be one. We are all in this together. All so interconnected that we can't awaken without one another. We need to help each other let go of the shore and stay in the middle of the river with no life jackets, no inner tubes, no intention of ever clinging to anything again. The warrior cry is, we are needed. We make this journey for the sake of ourselves, our loved ones, our enemies, and everybody else. Since we all share the same planet, it's crazy to continue acting in ways that will destroy it. May we all learn that pain is not the end of the journey, and neither is delight. We can hold them both, indeed hold it all at the same time, remembering that everything in this quixotic, unpredictable, unsettled, and unsettling, exhilarating, and heart-stirring times is a doorway to awakening in a sacred world. The peace song that we sing often at the end of services, and we will sing it today, it lays it out as an invitation and a challenge when we sing the words, and let it begin with me. And there it is. Am I ready for that? For it to begin with me, at least a little bit just today? What is mine to do today in my community? Where can I bring a little more peace into this world? How can I bring more freedom from discord? A little bit. What wants to begin with me today? What little bit of decency and kindness can I birth today? I invite you to breathe in with me and to exhale into a moment of prayer in which we acknowledge that this heart of ours is one with the heart of all creation. That this love that we feel is one with the love of all creation. That this mind with which we are thinking is one with the mind of the Creator itself. That we are all one, one, one. So we let this steep in us. We let ourselves become aware of this so that in everything we see and do and think, we pay tribute to the unity of all life, to the freeing power of love, and to the miracle of being together in this time and space. And so it is. I invite you to breathe in again, followed by a sigh.